Hey, this is Mike from Junkie on Crafts and Builds, and this is the unboxing and impressions video for G.I. Joe Classified Series, Vincent R. Falcone. He is number 64 in the series. So here's the front of the box. We got this really interesting drawing here of Falcon with a digital render of the figure here in the front. On the side, we have a continuation of that drawing with Falcon parachuting into the forest. Here in the back, we have the continuation of the render. He is 6.37 inches tall with all the accessories that's going to be in the box, and his tech specs across the bottom as well as on the side here. So that's it for the packaging. Let's get him out of the box. So out of the packaging, we have the cardboard coffin that holds Falcon. Taking the ties off of him, but we're going to look at him in a little bit. Right now, let's focus on his accessories. As we've seen in other Classified series releases, we have the accessories coming in this Foot Locker styled cardboard container. Again, it has his name on it and number 64. So that's all well and good. For the rest of his accessories, we're going to start from right to left, and we will go with his green beret. It is made of a softer green pliable plastic. Has the green beret insignia here on the front. Here's that. We have his shotgun in a grayish black plastic with accents across the front grip. And we have an articulated stock, moves up and down, and we have another hinge point here at the end of the butt. And we have accented shotgun shells built into the stock, or the backstop here. It is blast effect compatible, so decent enough, and it didn't come out of the package warped in any way, so that's a bonus. Next we have his K-bar. Again, a grayish plastic with silver accent painted across for the blade. We've got some serrated and some notches built into the blade itself, so nice enough. And to go with that, we have his backpack. Again, it's decently sculpted, definitely a lot more square, but that's because of the integrated radio built into this backpack here. We got double canteens, some rope. Again, the texturing goes on the inside of this as well. And we have a antenna that's separate from the backpack that you just plug in. Now be careful, because this is a very thin plastic, and mine came out of the box with a stress mark on. And we have a sheath for the K-bar, and you basically just slide it right in. So that's all the accessories that came with Falcon. Let's get him geared up and talk about the character. So now let's talk about Falcon as a character. Vincent is an O2, or a first lieutenant, and he's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. From his vintage bio card, it says Falcon has military in his blood. He's a second generation Green Beret, following his father, who served in the 10th Special Forces Group Airborne, which identifies Smoke Bomb Hill in Fort Bragg as its primary headquarters, or where it started. His primary MOS is infantry, with a secondary MOS as a medic. With added context from the UK Action Force line, Vincent's father was actually on an exchange tour with the British SAS. During that time is where he met and married Vincent's mother, and they came back to the United States. Vincent grew up idolizing his father and always tried to be the best. This mindset had worked for and against him in adulthood, with brash decisions made out of hot-headedness and a constant need to prove himself. He served in the 5th SFGA Blue Light Unit as the A-Team XO. He's trained and proficient in most military weapons and demolitions, and he's also very fluent in Spanish, French, Arabic, and Swahili. The quote on the vintage card reads, "Green Berets are specialists in training and leading native insurgents." Native insurgents are usually primitive tribal peoples who respect or who respond to two types of leadership. You can bully and overwhelm them with superior firepower and tech, or You can bite the head off a snake, chug-a-lug a local beverage, and yell, "Follow me." Falcon is the snake biter. So his vintage toy came out in 1987. This is the same time that his animated debut in the G.I. Joe the movie. Bai's accessories in the vintage line mirror what was in the classified accessories that we talked about earlier. It included a shotgun, a knife, which was stored upon his green backpack, and had an antenna for the comms equipment housed inside the backpack. Falcon has had 9 releases prior to the classified line. Notably, his 1988 release in G.I. Joe's Night Force. And in 1992, he donned gray camo as part of the Supersonic Fighters subset.
It's an awesome new level of light and sound. With 4 new sounds and battle lights. There's Falcon, Psych Out, and the evil Major Blood. Each soul separate.
With his first comics appearance in Marvel Comics issue number 60, he quickly gained precedence with a cover in issue number 73. So thanks to JLS Comics and his YouTube channel, I got this random fact. In issue 103, this established where Falcon was ranked in the G.I. Joe leadership, or chain of command. This information was found in the letters page of the comic, and it showed that General Hawk was the commander, Duke is top or first sergeant, or the first top NCO for the Joes, Flint is the XO, and Falcon is the S2, or intelligence officer, followed by the S3, or training officer, and S4, which is logistics. So it appears, Falcon seems to be well put together and a great soldier in the comics and in the toys. What happened in the animated movie? I mean, Falcon was portrayed by Don Johnson, and the story was written that Duke was his older half-brother. And after allowing Serpentor to escape Joe custody, Falcon was kicked out of G.I. Joe and sent to Sergeant Slaughter for training.
I can't understand how an arrogant misfit like you got into this outfit in the first place. 3 good men injured. Serpentor freed by some bizarre new enemy, all because you can't obey orders. Your record is a shameful parade of insubordination and gross dereliction.
If it please the court, I ask that the defendant be spared. I just know underneath it all there's a Joe Worth. Falcon is my half-brother.
Lieutenant Falcon, it is the judgment of this tribunal that you not be bound over for court-martial. But you still must answer for the serious charges against you. Falcon, you're gonna learn what it means to be a Joe, even if it kills you. I'm sending you to the slaughterhouse.
And he proves his worth by the end of the movie by stopping Globulus and Cobra La from taking over the world. So that's the bio and some quick facts about Falcon as a character. So let's look at the aesthetics of this G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. So now that we talked about the character, let's look at the figure himself. So right off the bat, we know this is a big reuse of the Tiger Force Recondo buck, and they did a decent job. So let's go ahead and knock the main thing out of the way, which has been the topic of this figure for the longest time, and that's the face sculpt. Aesthetically, yeah, he's not exactly what we pictured when we talked about Lieutenant Falcon. The face sculpt is definitely unique. He's definitely got a very prominent chin. A lot of this is, I don't know. I got some actual like dirt or rub or something on my face here. But looking at it, and I know I was one of the people that was talking about this figure when we first saw some images come out about the lips and everything. It's not horrible, it's not great, but it's something. People have been swapping heads or 3D printing their own heads to replace it. I might do the same thing, I'm not sure yet. But moving on. So we have this neckerchief that's tied around here. Again, it's too small for the collars, so really it gets in the way and kind of gets in. It doesn't really block articulation though. His head can go up that far, go down that far. He can actually give you some attitude, and that's with the ball pegs in here. The blouse is actually got some camouflage on it. Here, hopefully you can see a little bit better. I know the light's a little weird. So it's not too bad, but again, it's a different plastic than the arms. So you got the body of him here looking shiny, and then the arms, the upper arms of this, and the blouse attached to the harness here are all very dull matte colors. So it's distracting, at least for me, and it makes it even worse when you have some light on it. Without the light, it might not be as bad. So preferences are open on that. We have the little G.I. Joe communicator sculpted in on top here. We have another knife that is sculpted into the harness. Like I said, they have it so the blouse is down and open. But the way this is cut and sculpted with the harness, it looks weird because it is out this far, then it cuts right into where the buck is. So that's a little off. But, how about that? So, what you just saw there was another QC issue that I totally forgot about until trying to do the manipulation. So this shoulder here is, pretty much stuck. I had to maybe heat it up and loosen it a little bit. But ideally, you can get a T-pose. Bicep rotation. We've got the double jointed pinless elbows, same as Recondo, with the oversized hands. So yeah, I totally forgot about that shoulder. But we got butterfly joints as well. It's got a good ab crunch forward. Got a click in the back. The sculpt does continue up through the top part of the ab crunch here. A little restricted and tight on my ball joint here for the waist. And the legs, like with Recondo, you can go up that far, go back before it starts angling out. We've got double jointed pinless knees, which this one is really tight, so I'm not even going to try to push in that one. Let's see how the other one looks here. So you get the bottom part on this one, there's the top. So he can bend back that far. And then the boots, again, got this little covering over the top of the boot. Boot swivel. Ankles, we can go down barely nothing, up pretty much nothing, but we got rotation. Obviously, some QC things to look out for if you pick up this character, especially look at the arms, look at the knees, look at the legs, make sure that you can get your articulation set up. Other than that, paint-wise, I mean, the paint decoration on his legs and body's decent. It's just, this is shiny and it's really distracting. So there he is from the back. The deco follows through. Yeah, that's the aesthetics and articulation at once. So let's do some final thoughts. So my final impressions on G.I. Joe Classified Series number 64, Lieutenant Falcon. Of this wave, which I have most of his wave mates on here, he was my least anticipated figure. Part of that was because of predisposed opinion of him based on pictures found on social media. But getting him in hand, he's not as bad as I was thinking. But like every figure in this wave that I've looked at so far, between CoverGirl's arms, Outback's QC, and a combination of Deco and QC for Falcon, this wave's been pretty decisive and divisive amongst the community. If you want to get this guy, I won't tell you that it's a bad decision. He's a good filler. The Recondo buck is pretty decent for what it is. The accessories are appropriate for this guy. He's not a bad inclusion into your collection. He'll do all right, and we should just be we're happy that we have another G.I. Joe character out in our collection. And hopefully the next release and the next wave that comes through here with Shipwreck, Rock and Roll, Torpedo, and all the other ones coming out, the QC period that we have here will be fixed. We'll get some better looking characters, but that's my impressions of this character for now. Again, thank you for watching up to this point. I greatly appreciate it. I know the majority of you guys aren't subscribed. If you like what I'm doing, please take a moment and subscribe. Click the notification bell when you know I'll be putting out more videos. And I have a bunch of other cool action figures and Transformers in the docket that I gotta try to get through here. But I enjoy doing this. I hope you enjoy looking at the videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.